March 9th, right here on the Watchdog Network. Good to be here today with you on a kind of a, I don't know, a typical March day, I guess. It just was snowing this morning. It looked like a dump about, I don't know, several inches where I live, at least anyway. I know you're down on the hill, Lola. How are down off the hill? So how was the snow down here?
Yeah, we got a couple inches, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because it was a real heavy snow.
Yeah.
So as soon as it hit the ground, it kind of packed.
Yeah, it did.
But but it was pretty.
It was pretty,
you
yeah.
know,
And not terribly cold out, so.
No, and not scraping.
Yeah, just kind of push it away. Yeah, it's all melting now. It's right now it's about 37 degrees. May get up to around 40, but that's about it for today. But the snow apparently is over. So for now, at least anyway. I don't know. Maybe Saturday there's a good chance of some more snow coming in. So we're not out of this yet. It's not really officially spring. In fact, it's not officially spring until next week, I think, is it? Yeah. And then
but remember this weekend,
is
spring forward.
That's right. Daylight savings time. We lose an hour of sleep, but it's so worth it because we'll have that extra hour in the evening.
Oh, won't that be nice?
It will. It certainly will. Maybe when you leave here, and it won't be completely dark yet, so that'll be a good thing. Of course, we lose it in the morning too, so we lose that.
That's all right. I'm sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Oh boy, I've got a few things on the agenda today. No guests at all, so I welcome your calls. Anytime you want to come call in, the phone number is the same as it's always been: 304-214-1600, and that'll get you on the air. You can also text if you want to do that. We'll read your text and take it from there. We are in a situation where there's a war going on in Europe for the first time in about 70 years, as you know, and that's really the top story. I thought maybe, I started doing the show a couple of years ago, and the major topic has been COVID throughout, the pandemic and et cetera, and then. So I thought, once this is out, then maybe we'll have some normalcy, right? Mm-hmm. And then suddenly there's this Ukraine thing, and there's just that seems to be a world crisis all the time. We're just in a perpetual state of crisis here.
That's because, I'm not going to go into why, but I have a solution for one thing.
Okay.
Yes. We have all these paramilitary and militias running around the country, carrying their semi-automatics into restaurants and Starbucks and, at parades. I don't know.
Going to schools.
I don't know who they think they're going to fight.
Yeah.
But they're always prepared for a fight.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion for them. Put your ammo where your mouth is. They're roughly about, as well as they can count, about 13,000 foreign fighters have gotten into Poland and countries surrounding Ukraine and have gone on into Ukraine to fight with the freedom fighters.
Yeah.
And, you want to play war games, you do it here, you run through the woods, you shoot at cardboard targets and things like that. Do some good.
I like this idea a lot.
Yeah, go over there and be the army men that you want to be. And I'm not saying it, I am kind of with tongue in cheek.
I know,
but
yeah.
It seems to me that is an enemy.
Yeah, that's your enemy there.
Enemy.
Yeah.
Not here, at some protest rally or something.
Yeah.
The real enemy of the world at this point is Russia and the Russian soldiers and Putin. Go over there and show them that the world's not going to take this. Believe me, if I were a lot younger at this time.
Yeah.
And I saw on Colbert, I think, it was just a little clip. I didn't watch last night's show yet. But it was a bunch of mothers, Ukrainian mothers, that have had to send their kids. This is just so reminiscent of World War II.
Oh, yeah.
Where you take your children and you send them off by themselves
Yeah.
to security. And they're all dressed in army fatigues
Mhm.
and, everything. And it's like, you want to mess with our children? Now you got to mess with us. And you don't mess with mom.
No, you
You know?
don't.
Um, it's just, I don't know what the world is going to do, but the pictures come. I mean, this is just indiscriminate killing.
It is.
He
It
is
is.
not just targeting, particular factories and military points. He's just carpet bombing the country.
Yeah, this raining terror.
Yes, and it's a scorched earth policy.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what the world is supposed to do. I don't know how we can stay out of it because look at the damage that was done by the Allies staying out of World War II as long as they did.
Oh,
How
yeah.
many millions of people were murdered?
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, this can't go on.
No,
This just
no.
can't. But we're seeing the start of World War III.
Yeah, it's it's a real clear and present danger. President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned that the threat to his country is at the highest maximum level, and he is calling again for the world to close the skies. Basically, he would like NATO or the United States or to declare a no-fly zone, which would be tantamount to declaring war against Russia. And so far, the U.S. has resisted that idea.
Well, I know that Poland has agreed to give them the MiG
Yes.
jets
Mhm.
because that's what the Ukrainians trained on were Russian jets.
Right.
And yet Poland is in a very precarious situation. If they actively become involved, then that is tantamount to declaring war on Russia.
Right.
And right now, oh my gosh, they're overrun. 2 million people have escaped there.
To go to Poland,
You
right?
know,
Yeah.
yes. So Poland said, this is as of this morning,
Yeah. Mhm.
that they would send their jets to Ramstein,
Mhm.
to our base in Germany,
And then we were to take them to
yes, but here's a thought. That's on the western edge. You know, the Russians still haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Close to Poland. So there must be an airfield there, some type of airfield.
Yeah.
So what Poland should do is put all their jets out on a runway and then take a coffee break. And then the pilots can run, get across the border, snag the planes, fly them back to Ukraine, and it's across the border. What's Poland going to do?
Yeah.
Ooh, look,
Oh, they took our planes.
stolen. I mean, there are more devious ways of getting around these types of things
Yeah.
than just trying to diplomatically do it.
Just,
Be a little larcenous here, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's a very difficult situation for the NATO alliance to try to do what they can to help Ukraine without crossing the line into what Russia would consider to be an active war. So I don't really know. Right now, Vice President Kamala Harris is over there. She is in Poland, and she's also going to make another stop, also in Europe. Sometime she's going to Romania as well. There she's going to be meeting with several different world leaders, including the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So they're generally speaking, the Western nations are trying to figure out how they can help without provoking Putin anymore, because what can happen is we'll just escalate into a nuclear war, and that would be no good for anybody. The odd thing about this is, as far as I can tell, there's really only one person in the world who wants this war, and that's Vladimir Putin. Apparently there are a lot of dissidents in Russia that are protesting against that, which is no small thing because thrown in jail for that sort of thing there. A lot of the soldiers are, now these are just media reports that I've read. I'm not sure how valid they are, but I'm going to pass them along anyway with that note. And that, a lot of the Russian soldiers are very dispirited too, and they don't like the idea of fighting this war either, but they're good soldiers, so they're going to do what they're told to do. Meanwhile, we've got more than about 2 million people who have left Ukraine already. At least 1.3 million people have fled to Poland, just as Lola said a little bit earlier. It's estimated that actually about 1 million of all of these refugees are children. Primarily, you've got women and children who are abandoning the home country, and a lot of the men are staying behind to fight. There have been some evacuation corridors that have been opened up. That actually Ukraine and Russia agreed on several evacuation corridors just to get civilians out. But heavy weapons fire seems to have disrupted a number of the routes. This evacuation was due to begin today, but there's no sign of people being brought out of the affected countries. This is as of a couple of hours ago. Or the affected areas, it's all from one country, all from Ukraine. So that's just the ongoing mess. So we're just going to have to see how that pans out. Meanwhile, more and more companies, private companies, are pulling out of Russia, and it's a pretty extensive list. Ford, General Motors, Toyota, Volkswagen, and Nissan have all suspended exports of any of their automobiles to Russia. But it's not just automobiles. There are in fact some of these are actually made in Russia. Ford has plants in St. Petersburg and a couple of other places in Russia, and they are winding down their operations there. They haven't actually stopped them yet. Aviation companies, Boeing and Airbus, have both said that they've suspended all their services to Russian airlines or any kind of technical support for Russia. They've also shut down major operations in Moscow and have also closed operations in Kyiv. Big tech has also stopped selling products in Russia. Apple, notably, has said that it's deeply concerned about the Russian invasion, and in response, the company's moved to limit access to digital services like Apple Pay inside of Russia, and restricted the availability of Russian state media applications outside of the country, too. Facebook and its parent company, Meta, said it would block access to Russian news outlets, Sputnik and RT. Also, Twitter has similarly announced plans to reduce visibility and amplification of Russian state media content. So they're not totally getting rid of it, but they're going to reduce visibility and amplification.
But they need to, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter need to still be available before the Russian government shuts them all down.
That's probably true.
Because the Russian government is putting out so much lies and disinformation that Russian citizens are telling their family members in Ukraine, you're lying. These are photoshopped pictures.
Yeah.
That's not what's going on there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you're right. They do need to have that. So social media needs to keep some presence there. And so far, it looks like they are. The only thing Meta has blocked is Russian news outlets. Other big tech services like Netflix, they are suspending their streaming services in Russia. So those guys are not going to be able to see the Tiger King, I guess. Spotify said it's also closed its Russian office indefinitely, and let's see, Ruko which sells hardware that allows people to stream content through the internet. They've banned RT worldwide. YouTube, which is owned by Google, said it blocked Russian state media within Ukraine, including RT. And the video platform also says it would be significantly limiting recommendations to these channels, too. Google and YouTube have also said they'll no longer allow Russian state media outlets to run ads or monetize their content. Airbnb said that his company said that they're suspending all operations in Russia and Belarus. Intel has stopped all shipments to Russia and Belarus. Microsoft is also suspending all new sales of its products in Russia. IBM said the company has suspended all business in Russia, and Amazon, the cloud division at least, and Amazon Web Services said that it would halt new signups for its service in Russia and Ukraine. Lots of other businesses too. The consulting world has basically shut down. Major players are people like PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG International, Deloitte is a big mover in that sector, and they're all saying they're not going to be operating in at least Russia and sometimes in Belarus as well.
You're missing the big ones.
Which
the
one?
ones that impact the civilian population greatly. Pepsi,
Coke,
Starbucks,
yes.
McDonald's,
I think
Yum. I mean, now you're really getting to the heart of the problem.
That's true. And let's see, McDonald's is closing its Russian restaurants. 84% of McDonald's locations in Russia are operated by the McDonald's Corporation, and so they're all shut down. But I don't see anything here about Starbucks. Unilever is Yum Brands, Estee Lauder, Procter & Gamble, Prada, Puma, Mother Care, Zara, IKEA, Heineken.
IKEA, that was,
No, you know.
people flooded the IKEA stores in Moscow.
Oh yeah.
They just stripped the shelves.
It's all 17 stores have shut down. IKEA stores in Russia, and you know it is the world's largest furniture company. So it's also suspending all trade within the country and its ally Belarus too. H&M is pausing all sales there too, and Heineken. I don't know how much beer they sell in Russia, but they're not selling it anymore there. Media and entertainment, DirecTV is cutting ties with RT. Disney is also suspending the release of its theatrical films in Russia, which means that they're going to miss out on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Pixar's Lightyear, which are both due to come out later this year. Warner Media said that it's not going to release the Batman in Russia. It's out now. It's in fact in the Highlands, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I don't know. All of these might add up to something. Of course, finance is the big one too. In addition to the sanctions that get placed daily, more sanctions that are getting placed daily on the Russian oligarchs. There's also Norway's sovereign wealth fund, which is something where a lot of Russian oligarchs like to put their money. That has been shut off to them. MasterCard is suspending all of its network services in Russia. Visa, the same thing. American Express, the same thing. And Moody's is suspending commercial operations in Russia. They do a lot with investments too. And there's others too, UPS, FedEx, DHL, all of those shipping companies are halting all cargo and consumer deliveries inside Russia, and trains too. So it's just it's everywhere. A lot of and I think what ultimately this does is it hurts the Russian people more than it hurts Putin directly, but it's one way that we can try to punish them, try to punish him, and it's very indirect punishment. Unfortunately, the people of the country suffer a lot more, but we hope that it trickles up. Yeah.
Well, how have revolutions started?
Mm.
It's not from the top, and it's always from grassroots.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what the West is going for, is that the more the people of Russia themselves are hurt by this, the better of a chance there is to overturn that regime.
Yeah.
You get enough people starving, and that's exactly what will happen.
Oh yeah.
change comes.
Yeah.
It might be ugly, but it'll be change.
Yeah. Well, certainly it's ugly in Ukraine right now.
Yes, it
so,
is. Scorched earth policy.
Yeah. So we've got to make it ugly for the Russian people, unfortunately, so that we can get them to depose their leader. Who
One
was
of
it?
the side effects of all of this, too, is, you know, we made the grand pronouncement we're not going to buy any more oil, coal,
Mhm.
or gas from Russia, which amounted to about 3 or 4%
Right.
of what we consume. Open the Keystone Pipeline. But everyone here, well, in other places too, keeps yelling, shut off all oil production from Russia to Europe. But Germany uses like 70%.
Comes from Russia,
And
yeah.
you can't, then you're, yes, yes, for a humanitarian idea, yes, it's okay, I'll bite the bullet,
Mhm.
but when you stop and think about natural gas, the gasoline for a car is one thing.
Right.
Natural gas heats homes, runs businesses. Coal keeps power plants going.
Mhm.
Now all of Europe is going to be plunged into this terrible recession, if not depression,
Right.
because of this. And then it's really going to trickle over to the rest of the world.
Oh, sure.
So
yeah.
it's not just the simple thing of, we're not going to buy it anymore,
Mm.
and that's the bottom line. There are going to be real human sufferings of people that are certainly not deserving. I mean, not that Ukraine is,
Right.
but there's other things to consider.
Right.
And the financial markets is one of them.
Mhm.
You want to start twisting arms, go to Saudi Arabia, another despot,
Yes.
and get him to start producing more oil, which will drop the cost of a barrel.
Right.
It's not Biden. It's not Europe. It is Saudi Arabia that holds the purse strings
Mhm.
to all of this.
Mhm. It's
And
true.
they just keep allowing the price to go up and
Yeah.
up and up. Last I heard, it was 130 a barrel.
Yeah. And they're profiting from it. They're
Oh,
making
absolutely
such
they are.
great profit
And
from
then
it.
people started yelling about Biden going to Venezuela. Well, at least it will increase the oil supply in the world and perhaps drop the price down, regardless of what Saudi Arabia does.
Right. Right. And yeah, Venezuela's got a corrupt leadership
He's
there,
no
but so
better,
right.
but, you know.
But yeah, we don't. We deal with the Saudis, and they're corrupt. It's it's crazy. And to cap all this off with one kind of disquieting thought: what if Donald Trump were still president? How would this be different? Just judging from everything that he's said about Putin, everything that he did, he got impeached over a Ukraine issue, over trying to pull out political shenanigans, I guess we could call it that, with Ukraine. I imagine he just would have rolled over, just say, "Oh, Putin's a genius. That's smart." And he was trying to get us out of NATO, which is really the thing that's probably propelling Putin more than anything else. Is he wants to reestablish the USSR boundaries, and he wants to get rid of NATO.
Well,
So,
we would have already been out of NATO.
yeah,
I mean, let's face it, the German chancellor was ready to choke him over across the table, so.
yeah. It could have been. I mean, we dodged a big bullet there. At least in And I'm not saying that having Joe Biden in there is the perfect person, but he does have more world experience and more experience in dealing with international bad guys than any other politician
Are we
that's
going
on
to
the floor.
see, depending on what happens,
Mhm.
if Ukraine does fall and he puts in a puppet
Yeah.
government, which that's what he would have to do, and it was all under the guise of not allowing Ukraine into NATO.
Right.
Finland has now given their application
Yeah.
to become involved with NATO.
Yeah.
And is this going to be the next stop
Yeah.
to try and stop Finland? from becoming
It might be,
NATO
yeah,
ally?
it might be.
They
'Cause-
have an 800-mile border.
yeah, right, with Russia, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that could be, and if they do join NATO, if they're allowed to join NATO, I'm sure that's going to infuriate Putin, and that'll probably be next. I fully expect that Ukraine will inevitably fall, and I hope not. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I just don't see that that they're really going to be able to hold out that much longer. It's just a very grave situation here.
Well, go steal those Polish airplanes.
Yeah, that's right. Park them out there. Leave the key in. Okay,
Yeah.
leave them idling there.
Just go take a coffee break.
I'm so glad we have Lola to solve the world problems. I guess we should take our midpoint break a litbit over that time. When we come back, I've got some entertainment news to share with you to keep things a little bit on the lighter fare. And your calls are welcome. Just give me a call, 304-214-1600, and we'll chat a bit. You're listening to Butch Maxwell's Complete Waste of Airtime right here on the Watchdog Networks, and we'll be right back.
The Mountaineers and the Wildcats get ready to tip off the Big 12 tourney. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger.
At Kroger, we believe fresh means holding our produce to a higher standard. That's why we do up to a 27-point inspection on our produce. Like for citrus, we check for things like scarring and sunburn. Yep, oranges can sunburn, and we'll make sure you never see it. In fact, we only allow the best oranges, lemons, and grapefruits to reach our shelves. Because when it comes to fresh for everyone, we believe the juice is worth the squeeze. Kroger, fresh for everyone. 42 million Americans struggle with hunger, yet 35% of the food in this country is wasted. Those aren't just numbers, they're our neighbors, your daughter's friend from school, the family of 4 next door. The Kroger Company's Zero Hunger, Zero Waste Foundation is committed to making fresh food accessible to all by ensuring it never goes to waste. Together, we can help end hunger. Learn more at zerohungerzerowastefoundation.org.
It's game day for the Mountaineer basketball team in Kansas City, West Virginia, and the Wildcats of Kansas State will play for the third time this season. The winner of this game will advance to tomorrow's quarterfinal round to take on the number 1 seed, the Kansas Jayhawks. As for West Virginia and K-State during the regular season, there were 2 meetings on January the 8th and then on Valentine's Day. Remember that first meeting early on in the conference season? K-State, because of COVID, was missing several of its key performers. In fact, head coach Bruce Weber did not even make the trip to Morgantown. Despite all of that, K-State exploded at the start of the game, had a 13-point lead at halftime. They actually built on that early in the second half, and then West Virginia finally got going, outscored K-State 44-28 in the second half, and the Mountaineers won the game 71-68. In that game, West Virginia was led by Sean McNeil. He exploded for 26 points, career high for him, hit 4 3-pointers. Then the second go-round, Valentine's night in Manhattan, Kansas, it was Kansas State falling behind early, 42-35 at the half, and then outscoring West Virginia by 12 in the second half. They won the game 78-73. Their point guard, Marquise Noel, really difficult to stop that night for West Virginia, finished up with 21 points, hit 7 buckets on the night. He did not play in their last 2 games of this regular season because of a hamstring injury. We'll keep an eye on his availability going into tonight's game. Once again, our pregame set to go at 6 tonight. The tip at 7 o'clock. We invite you to join us. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. The PGA Tour gets the Players' Championship underway tomorrow at the Players' Stadium course, TPC Sawgrass. A $20 million purse is on the line. Justin Thomas is the defending champion. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers announced yesterday he's returning to the Green Bay Packers for another season. The two sides are currently working out a deal for the 38-year-old quarterback that'll give him contractual clarity well into his 40s. A big move in the NFL yesterday. The Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks have reportedly made a deal trading Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos in exchange of 3 players and draft picks over the next 2 years. For lightning fast sports updates as they happen, download the free Score app today. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look, an emu wearing sunglasses.
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? We could romance the legal copy. It never gets the attention it deserves. And some lawyer worked real hard on it. So take it away, lawyer.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Now that was some beautiful legal. Well done, lawyer. Well done.
You make 35,000 decisions every day. Are your gambling decisions good ones? If you struggle with a problem with gambling, call 1-800-589-9966 for free confidential support. Do you have a loved one who struggles with a problem with gambling? This 24/7 helpline also provides resources on how to support a loved one who may need help. Call 1-800-589-9966 or visit beforeyoubet.org.
Want to buy your own home but think you can't afford it? What if you got down payment assistance or a discounted interest rate just for being a recent college grad, teacher, nurse, or veteran? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency offers this and more, and our programs are always available for eligible Ohioans, big city, small town, and everywhere in between. Find out if you qualify at myohiohome.org. That's myohiohome.org. Home ownership, ready when you are.
I'm Josh from Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. I hope you are staying healthy. We continue to respond to structural, fire, and water emergencies. We are combating COVID-19 with our highly trained staff and latest disinfection systems, providing preventative and reactive disinfection to facilities around the region, while working with area hospitals on isolation areas and air filtering. At Panhandle, we continue to follow social distancing and hygiene protocols. We are dedicated to our community, and together, we will get through this.
Attorney Tom McIntyre.
Life. It may knock you down, but you don't have to stay that way. I'm Tom McIntyre. I'm a bankruptcy attorney, and I'm here to help you. Give us a call, and we'll send you a copy of my free book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It's an interesting read, and it'll explain bankruptcy to you like no other book does. Give us a call. We're here to help.
Call Thomas E. McIntyre and Associates at 304-232-8600. Allow us to help put you back on the road to financial success.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. If you are looking for the latest news, be sure to catch the Watchdog Morning Show every day. We've got it. If you're looking for interesting and timely interviews, be sure to check into the Watchdog Morning Show every day. We've got them. And if you're looking for an occasional laugh, check in with the Watchdog Morning Show. We'll give you that as well. Plus rants and texts and calls and more. I'm Howard Monroe. Join me and Brad Leonard every weekday from 7 to 10. It's the Watchdog Morning Show right here. Wake up with us.
Who's gonna tell you when it's too late?
that's Drive by the Cars, one of my favorite Cars songs. Thanks for playing that. Just a beautiful, lovely song. Even though that's kind of a sad intro into this segment, actually, I've got some happy news. We were talking about the war in Ukraine during the first half hour, and so I thought maybe we'd lighten it up a little bit. I found a couple of pieces of news that I find to be good news anyway. The first one, this might be kind of surprising, is somebody's going to go to jail. But this guy deserves it. This is Guy Reffitt, who is the first guy who has been found guilty of 5 charges that he faced related to the U.S. Capitol attack more than a year ago on January 6th of last year. Reffitt is a Texas 3-percenter and, of course, a supporter of former President Donald Trump when he went to the Capitol on January 6th and was charged with 5 counts: wanting to obstruct congressional certification of the 2020 election, transporting guns into D.C., carrying a Smith & Wesson handgun into the restricted grounds of the Capitol, also interfering with Capitol Police, protecting the Upper West Terrace, and obstructing justice by threatening his son and daughter when he returned to Texas. Allegedly, this man told his son and daughter that people who committed treason get shot. If they were to tell anybody about his antics on January 6th, that the inference was that he would shoot his children. So he was sentenced. He was found guilty by a jury. He's not sentenced yet. He's going to be sentenced on June 8th. The trial was kind of it alternated between a painful reliving of the attack of the Capitol Police witnesses, a civics lesson on Congress, and a family drama where a son testified against his father. So this was the first case related to the January 6th incident to go to trial, and it did test the Justice Department's ability to tie one person's action in the crime to the broader attack on Capitol Hill. So good news, we're finally starting to see justice being done, but boy, this is just taking way, way too long.
You know how the federal government is.
Yeah.
They want all their T's crossed and all their I's dotted.
They do.
But when they make a final move,
It's for real.
it's over.
Yep. The Senate has passed a bipartisan bill, which is notable in and of itself. It's an overhaul of the U.S. Postal Service. As you may recall, the Postal Service was arguably under attack under the last administration. This new bill shores up funding. It's called the Postal Service Reform Act. It cleared the House last month, so it's just going to go to the president's desk, and he's most likely going to sign it. But it did 2 important things. It's going to require retired postal employees to enroll in Medicare when they're eligible, while dropping the previous mandate to force the agency to cover its own health care costs years in advance. Nobody else has to do this, but that really crippled the finances of the U.S. Postal Service. So now they don't have to pay that in advance. So that is a great thing. As you know, the Postal Service is one of the few, if not maybe the only, federal agency that doesn't rely on taxpayer funding. It just relies on revenue from stamps and package deliveries to support itself. So it's amazing to me that Congress would try to kick its legs out from under it, but now apparently both Republicans and Democrats have come together to pass this bill, and thank God for that, because we have to have good mail service. Yeah, and it's absurd. I've heard people complain about the post office, and yeah, I mean, we can all complain about our government services as being inadequate, but when you think about it, the U.S. Postal Service is required to deliver to every household in America. Every household. That's an absolute requirement. So there are people who live in the Grand Canyon who you can only reach where they live by mule, and the post office reaches them. FedEx doesn't have to go there. None of the other agencies, the UPS, doesn't have to go there. So it's sort of similar to, we can, if we're going to compare them, well, it's not fair to compare them. It's like comparing a private school to a public school. Well, you can get a better education in a private school. Yeah, because private schools can refuse to take students who require special education, for example, something like that. So, so we need to protect our public services, all of them. So kudos to Congress for a change, for doing something well, for doing something right. Hey, what do you got going this week? You got interest in some entertainment? I've got a few things happening here, and as usual, I'm just telling you the things that I know about. I do a little research, but if you know of something that's happening, you can always call in while I'm on the air. I'm happy to promote. It doesn't matter whether you're an advertiser or not. We'll help promote you. If you've got live entertainment going on, I'm all about that. So here are a few things that are happening. Thursday at the Bridgeport School, starting at 6 p.m., it's a Mystery Theater Unlimited's Indiana Smith and the Restaurant of Doom. The show starts at 6. You want to get there about 5:30 or so. You can contact any member of the Bridgeport Rotary because it's a fundraiser for the Rotary over there. Or I'm going to give you a phone number just right now, and you can call this number if you want to come in and see the show. That's tomorrow night. Call 740-635-3463. Once again, that's 740-635-3463. If Friday's a better night for you, you can see that same show at the View Bar and Grill in Grandview Park. The showtime there is 7 o'clock, so it's an hour later. So you can get there around 6:30, and it'll be good. If you're interested in that, you can call River City. They're taking reservations for the View Bar and Grill in Grandview, and that number is 304-233-4555. Also on Friday night, Singing in the Rain is going to be at Towngate Theater. You want to see it on a big screen, then it's a fantastic film. It's just really good. I just saw it recently, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just a wonderful film. But I didn't get to see it on a big screen, and so that might be fun for you. I'm going to be busy, but you want to go see it Friday night, Towngate Theater, $8 will get you in. And if you want to, you can have dinner there before that. It'd be a pretty low price. Charlie Schwegel, I think, is still catering for them, and the price is $25. That includes dinner and the show, so $25. It's still, relatively inexpensive date. Saturday at Towngate Theater, it's The Magic of Motown. Don't know a whole lot about that show, but they are promoting it. And the time I saw was at 2:30 p.m., which is kind of odd. I did not get a chance to call Towngate, but you can call Ogilvy Institute if you're interested in The Magic of Motown. Ask them for details. Their number is 304-242-7700. In live entertainment, got a few things happening. My very good friends, Miller Smith Major, otherwise known as MSM, they're going to be playing at Black Sheep Vineyard on Saturday night. That's Al 250 in Ohio. The showtime is 7:30 p.m. there. So MSM at Black Sheep Vineyard Saturday, 7:30. Also Saturday at the Bridge Tavern. My very good friend Bill Gorby and his musical Mercenaries are going to be playing there starting at 7 p.m. The Bridge Tavern's a nice place. You've got to check it out. Good food there, too. And they have a brunch, too, on Sunday. So Sunday, my very good friend Roger Horde and his jazz trio will be there for Sunday brunch starting at 11 a.m. So those are some of the entertainment options available to you right now in the Wheeling area. Of course, movies. There's always movies, too, and the big one right now is The Batman. It's the brand new one that's just come out. It came out last weekend, and I'm hearing pretty good buzz from it. On Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's got I think 86%, which is pretty high. It's pretty good. So from what I understand, it's a very dark take, darker still than even the last rounds of Batman movies. But you can check that out. Also, another film that's I'm kind of interested in is Kenneth Branagh's new production of Death on the Nile, which is also playing in the Highlands and out at the mall. So some movies, if you want to go check into those. Another big entertainment option coming up for the Wheeling area is the Blues Festival, but this is the Winter Blues Festival. And so my very good friend Bruce Wheeler is sort of capitalizing on the great summer program that he has with a wintertime event. And this is going to be at the McClure Hotel. We're going to have nationally touring blues artists that will be performing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next weekend. Not this weekend. I think it's next weekend. Yeah, it's March 18th. That is next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah. Okay, just want to make sure. Sometimes I get confused. I'll read you the names real quickly. You may or may not know some of these names, but Joanna Connor, Allie Venable, Vanessa Collier, Eric Gales, and then a late night with Billy Price. That's all on Friday night. On Saturday, starts at 1 o'clock. On Friday, by the way, it starts at 5 and it goes until 2 in the morning. On Saturday, the hours are 1 p.m. to 2 a.m. And you've got Miss Freddie? Ben Prestage, Cara Grangier, I'm sorry, that's Cara Grangier, Tony Holiday, Albert Castaliga, Victor Wainwright in the Train, and Late Night with Billy the Kid. And then on Sunday, it goes from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., so a little bit shorter program, but still good. They've got an acoustic blues brunch with Austin Walken Kane, Charlie Barath, and Izzy Stetter. Okay. If you want information on that, you can find it at heritagemusicfestival.com, I believe is their website. So go check that out. Just search on Heritage Music Blues Festival, Wheeling, West Virginia. You'll find it there, and you can get all the information. You can buy tickets for a single day or for the whole weekend, whatever works for you. The folks at WVU are saying that it looks now like we've got that we may be. Signs are pointing to an endemic. So the pandemic may be over. I mean, nobody is saying for sure, but they're considering that it's probably an endemic. What does an endemic mean? Well, it just means that the virus is going to be around. We're just going to have to learn to live with it, much like the common cold. Common colds are endemic to this area. To a lot of this area, a lot of areas. So this may be something that we just have to live with. Mask mandates have been lifted in a lot of places. I know I teach at Wheeling University, and we just lifted our mask mandate this week. So that's kind of good news. But if you're out and about, don't feel badly about wearing a mask. In fact, if you're on public transportation, you're still going to have to wear a mask for some time. Most likely, especially on airplanes and buses and trains and stuff like that. And if you see people wearing a mask, smile, be kind. They may have some special reason why they need to take a special care, or they may just be just being especially careful not for health reasons. Maybe they're being careful to make sure that you don't get a disease too. So. Let's be kind to other people. If they're choosing to wear a mask, then great. I mean, it's certainly not going to hurt you, is it? One other thing, really quickly, I want to talk about is the Wheeling Symphony Orchestra is presenting a concert at the Capitol Theater on next Friday, not tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, but next Friday. And I had to buy tickets, Lola, because my wife's favorite piece of music is being played that night. It's Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto. Which was, of course, what stimulated All by Myself by Eric Carmen. He stole he borrowed that melody. But it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. They're also going to be playing. It's part of an American Roots concert. That's what they're calling it. They're going to start with a piece by American composer Jesse Montgomery. And there's supposed to be a surprise element that's supposed to be very Wheeling-centric, so that ought to be interesting. And they're also going to play the Ukrainian national anthem that night, as well as part of another American symphony called Songs of a New Race. So, that's if you're interested in that, you can call the symphony or at their box office. Their phone number is 304-232-6191. 304-232-6191 for the Wheeling Symphony. And very proud of, I think Wheeling is still the smallest metropolitan area in the United States that has a professional full-time symphony orchestra. And so that's kind of an amazing thing. Really good. All right, well, I've just wasted another perfectly good hour with you, but I appreciate your spending it with me. We didn't get any calls coming in. You know, our friend Durbin, who calls all the time, I was going to tell him, Durbin, if you're out there, I just drove through Durban, West Virginia, and thought about you over the weekend. So I wanted you to,
The
I don't know.
Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600, WKKX, Wheeling.
From ABC News.